Final Fantasy Standard is here, and today we've only got one goal: go infinite with the deck I like to call Sorceress's Storm. This is my girlfriend's original brew, and I'm just commentating, so sit back and enjoy B's Brews. Open, mulligan, second, 6 keep, put Lindville on the bottom. Open the Quarry Mountain Monastery, tapped. Pass, play a land. Play a Flip Farm Birch, pass. Okay, pretty slow open here. Opponent seems to be on Orzhov, interesting. Play starting town, play a first stock up, find ourselves another land and another stock up. Opponent plays a forest, plays summon Fenrir, finding themselves a swamp, if I recall correctly. Yes, there it is. Draw a mountain, play our second stock up, and find a Mind Splice Apparatus. This is one of the main combo pieces of the deck, so keep an eye on this card for later. Play a Thundering Falls, Surveil a Flood Farm Verge to the graveyard, Fenrir ticks up. They play Yuna, Hope of Spira. Comes down, we're tapped out, can't do anything about it, but we can remove it next turn before it really has a chance to do much. Draw starting town, play another Verge, and get lost Yuna. Pass the turn, Fenrir ticks up to 3, sacrifices, draws them a card, but we don't have to actually deal with the body, so that's nice. Up the Beanstalk comes down, this will draw them cards. And they follow up with a Dredger's Insight. We play Artist's Talent. At the first level, this will let us rummage every time we cast a non-creature spell. They play Titan, and they do get the draw from the Beanstalk, but we'll be able to counter that and not have to actually deal with that big boy. And Artist's Talent will have us rummage into an Ichor Moon Gauntlet. Play another Thundering Falls, and tick up our Artist Talent to the next level. Now all of our non-creatures are discounted by 1, which is super relevant because we can actually cast something like Mind Splice Apparatus. And there goes the Artist Talent. If we actually responded, we could have cast the Mind Splice because it has Flash, but missed it, and we'll just have to catch it next turn. Draw the Limblum and play the Ichor Moon Gauntlet. This one is sort of an alternate route to victory here. Our deck really relies on proliferating to tick up extra oil counters on the Mind Splice Apparatus. But if we don't have proliferate instead, we can do a mini proliferate every time we cast a non-creature, only proliferating a single one of our permanents. Opponent plays a Virtue of Persistence. This triggers the up the Beanstalk, and it represents a pretty scary win con for our opponent, being able to pull things out of their graveyard. Because Mind Splice Apparatus has Clash, we can bring that down on their end step, and follow it up with a Ral Crackling Wit. Ral Crackling Wit actually adds an extra loyalty counter whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so they can get up pretty fast, especially combined with Ichor Moon Gauntlet.
Cast the Mystical Teachings to find Get Lost.
While we want to be ticking up our Mind Splice Apparatus, it will get a free counter every turn, and we only really need 3 or 4, so instead we got the Ichor Moon Gauntlet to tick up Ral faster. We use them to draw further into our deck,
And then use the Get Lost we found earlier to remove the Virtue of Persistence.
Opponent plays an Overlord of Hauntwoods and starts cracking the maps to surveil through their deck. As scary as this looks, we can just play another Get Lost once they're done and wipe away all those +1/+1 counters they got from us. First, let's play a Coruscation Mage though, paying the Offspring so we can ping twice every time we cast a non-creature spell. And Get Lost the Overlord of the Hauntwoods.
I have a plan.
This time we take up Ral to get a Prowess Otter. Our game plan is not beat down, but it's another payoff for casting infinite instants and sorceries. They go for the throat. We do have the time stop in hand, and we could have maybe played it here. I'm not sure if it was a better play or not to hold up the time stop for later, but they certainly did do a number on our board, although they probably could have just done that again the next turn instead, so it wouldn't have actually wasted their ability to remove our stuff. It would have just slowed them down a bit. Moving to our turn, a Mind Slice ticks up again, and Ral draws us further into our deck.
I'll just embarrass you.
We play the Day of Judgment and just clear the board. So yeah, certainly didn't need to time stop last turn.
I am confident.
Spearman Augury comes down. This is one of our main ways of proliferating in the board while also digging through our deck. And then we can just hold up Time Stop mana. We actually have a lot of mana left over casting the Time Stop, but it is legitimately really cool that Mind Splice Apparatus can let you cast a 2-mana Time Stop with this deck.
I am confident.
Pass the turn to us. Row Crackling Whip now has enough that they can tick down for 10 for their ultimate. Draw 3 cards. You get an emblem with instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. Things are about to get weird. Row ticks down, we draw 3 cards, and we play Vivi Ornithir. Now whenever we cast an instant sorcery spell, we are going to ping our opponent for 1. We cast a Lindblum. Because of Storm, it's going to create an extra copy of itself, and now we've got 3 pings every time we cast an instant sorcery spell. Cast Inventory of Consoles just because it's a cheap non-creature spell, ping our opponent's 3.
I have a plan.
Cast Mitchell's Teachings to find another target with Flash. And yeah, it goes like this for a while. We have enough mana that we can just keep casting our spells. At this point, we have enough discounts that everything we cast only costs colored mana, so usually only 1 or 2, and we've got a decent number of lands. Once we run out of untapped lands, though, we can have Vivi generate mana equal to their power. And oh, and it turns out when Arena processes this many storm triggers, the sound overlays, and yeah, we had to turn off the volume. We didn't go infinite this game, but we certainly burnt them out with Black Mage triggers. And that basically does it. Again, not infinite, but well. On to sideboarding, we bring in an extra counter spells because that seemed to be mostly where we're interacting with our opponent, and we bring in some graveyard hate to deal with whatever Yuna or Resurgent or Persistence was trying to bring back from the bin. Game 2, we're up a game. Let's keep this hand, and opponent opens with a land, we pass to us, we play a land, we get to surveil our island to the bin, and opponent's turn. They play a High Noon, which can be really troublesome for some decks. I don't know exactly how much it's going to matter this time because, well, we really don't need to worry about casting multiple spells until our combo turn. But V gets rid of it anyway, and might as well. We're going to have to get rid of it eventually. Although I wonder if the Overlord was the better target there. Play the Mysterized Village, pass opponent. They get another Swamp, pass to us. Play another Verge, and we're going to hold up mana. Because Mind Splice Apparatus has Flash, we can actually wait to see if we need to counter anything, and if we don't, drop it on the end step. Opponent starts cracking maps. Overlords tick down, our Mind Splice ticks up. Draw and pass, holding up mana for the 3 steps ahead. They cast an Up the Beanstalk, we counter it, and we have enough mana that we can actually pay for a second mode and start digging ourselves deeper. Looks like it might have been a trap though, because they followed up with a Disruptive Stormbird that we can't counter, which will come down and actually blow up our Mind Splice, setting us back down to square one. The Experimental Augury does have this sweet tech against Overlords because we can tick up their impending counters to make them take a little bit longer to come off of impending. The Mind Splice is down, but luckily we have extra copies. We'll pass so we can play it on their end step as usual. They attack. Oof, that's 8 damage, but if we can survive, we kind of might have it here. Verge of Persistence comes down. We're going to cast an Experimental Augury and, ooh, find ourselves a Day of Judgment. That is exactly what we needed to see. Overlords tick down. Mind Splice Apparatus comes down. Mind Splice ticks up and play a land, and I think it's about time. Find a land, cast a Sorcerer's Scheme for a Get Lost. That goes to our hand, we get to cast that, destroying the Virtue of Persistence. And following up with the Day of Judgment. Basically completely reset the board, and we are in a very strong position with a Mind Splice Apparatus online and a Sorcerer's Scheme in the graveyard. We cast a Sorcerer's Scheme, finding a 3 steps ahead so they can counter a future thing of theirs, and we can just get lost there, Overlord. Not even a problem. They may have a lot of maps, but they have nothing to target right now. They pass to us, Overlord ticks down, and we cast a second Mind Splice. Now every turn we are ticking up our oil by 2, not just by 1, so we have a discount of 5. Cast the Get Lost, destroy the Overlord before it comes off impending. and pass the turn with enough to counter whatever they do. They play a land, and just pass. Our Mind Splices tick up, and we draw Ral. That should help us draw further into our deck like we saw in the first game. Down tick, draw 3, discard 2. And we don't need another Mind Splice or another land at this point. Let's play the Ickermoon Gauntlet, and, well, actually no. Let's not and hold up to the counterspell. That's good. Good thing we did too, because here comes Yuna. It's kind of funny that how if we cast Ickermoon Gauntlet, we wouldn't have had enough to cast 3 steps ahead, but since we didn't, we have enough that we can cast it choosing every mode through our discounts. It comes down, countering the spell, drawing us cards, and making an extra copy of Mindless Apparatus. Not that we need it right now. Ickermoon Gauntlet comes down, and we draw stock up, able to get a little bit further. Stock Up comes down, and there's the combo. Sorceress Scheme and Lindblom or Mage Seed. With these 2 spells and the Sorceress Scheme we cast earlier in Exile, we can actually go infinite now. Except, not right now. We cast Mage Siege, giving us a wizard that will deal 1 damage to our opponent whenever we cast a non-creature spell. Then we go to cast the Sorceress Schemes, and we're out of red mana. So for now, let's just tick down Ral, draw some cards, and there's a time stop. Okay, put a stop on their upkeep, and their turn will be over before it's even started. So a little bit sloppy there. Theoretically, they could have removed our wizard, and that would have maybe been a bit of a problem because we were a little bit hasty on casting it. But ending their turn before they even get to draw, there's no way, even with the extra mana, that they can do anything about it. And then we just play Sorceress Schemes, choosing the Sorceress Schemes that we cast before in Exile, returning that to our hand, and then casting that one, pulling back the Sorceress Schemes that is now in our graveyard. Sorceress Schemes produces a new red mana whenever you cast one, so we can do this an infinite number of times, and as long as we have something that can ping our opponent whenever we cast non-creature spells, it just goes infinite. All of this is also ticking up Ral every time we cast, so let's tick him down, get our Storm, and get a few more mages on the field by storming off with Mage Siege. That is dramatically going to cut down how many times we have to go through the loop. Although, there's a lot of useless triggers we do not care about. We have to deal with the Ickermoon Gauntlet, we have to deal with the Sorceress Schemes targeting something. The first time, yes, we need to target the Sorceress Schemes to get it back into our hand, but after the first time, it doesn't matter anymore. The Storm versions of it are doing basically nothing except for wasting our time. I really like this deck. I feel like it's surprisingly resilient interaction and a lot easier to get your oil counters up than you'd expect. Despite both games using Ickermoon Gauntlet and Ral, you really don't need it most of the time. It just kind of happened that way, and, well, it really does help dig through the library if nothing else. Blink and you'll miss it, but there was the GG, so stop, GG him back, and, well, they're gonna make us keep playing it out, so, anyway, here's the full combo. Enjoy. Now, if you like that, since sending me this footage, B has been tinkering with this deck and has sent an entirely separate game with an updated version of the list that plays against Omniscience. I think it's a really cool game, so if you're interested, let me know and I'll edit that one up for you too. Have a good night, everyone. I've been Darcy Bits, and I'll see you next time.